The Trump administration has had a bad last couple of days, and Leavitt had to come out and do damage control. Starting with, before I show you her in front of reporters flopping badly, this is one of the most iconic pieces of a news broadcast that we've ever covered. This is the epitome of Trump's healthcare plan, okay? CNN reports that he has a new healthcare plan, finally, after a decade. But then something happens while they're reporting on it. Let's listen.
We're learning President Trump is planning to unveil a new health care proposal. And at this point, we're still waiting to know exactly what's in it. But we're told it could include a temporary extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are due to expire at the end of the year. They were at the center of the government shutdown. However, the subsidies could come with some fresh guardrails that could include new income limits and a requirement that everyone pay some form of a premium. Now, we should note that if the subsidies do expire, millions of Americans are expected to see their premiums more than double next year. Zach Cooper is joining us now. He's a professor of health policy at Yale University. Zach, thanks for being here. As I noted, we are very much still waiting for specifics here. I'm sorry, this has actually been, sorry, Zach, we're getting breaking news while I'm talking to you. I have learned that the White House has postponed its expected unveiling of this new health care proposal. It was expected to be unveiled today. We'll learn more, hopefully, about that in the coming moments. But again, this is postponed.
That is it. Plenty of people said beyond parody, like a movie. CNN finally gets a report that Trump is about to unveil his new healthcare plan. And while she's trying to report on it, she has her producer come in her ear and go, sorry, and go, just, I worded something weirdly. They postponed it. The White House just announced that they postponed it. Like, that is the epitome of Trump's healthcare plan. It's just always getting postponed. And the one thing that we know about the specifics is that he's open to extending the ACA subsidies. That's not a plan. That's what Democrats are begging you to do because it's the correct move, but it's not a comprehensive solution to the healthcare system. Wild. So then here's Leavitt. Click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. Get yourself some pep, my family, business, drink, gut-friendly energy by going to drinkpep.com. I do appreciate it a lot. Get it delivered directly to your doorstep.
I know there's been a lot of reporting on this from yourself as well, Jake, over the last few days. I will tell you that healthcare is a topic of discussion that's happening very frequently and robustly inside the West Wing right now. The president's very much involved in these talks, and he's very focused on unveiling a healthcare proposal that will fix the system and will bring down costs for...
But I do have Trump actually calling me right now, and we have postponed another 2 weeks, though. Sorry, we have postponed. But what was the quote? You can take it down. The quote was, topic of discussion happening very frequently and robustly. It's right out of Veep. In Veep, there's this episode where they are trying to pick the exact right word and they choose robust for the vice president's speech. But then because her assistant, who was separately going under oath for a testimony, heard robust, she ends up using it because she gets nervous like a bunch of times in the testimony. But then the vice president at the same time gives a speech and uses the term a bunch of times. And so then it becomes a whole, they all get mocked for like, why is everyone in your administration using robust all of a sudden over and over? And now she's actually saying we're having a very robust healthcare discussion in the White House. Well, let me take you back to 2020.
In history.
I want to talk to you about Obamacare. Since the pandemic hit, millions of people have lost their jobs and thereby lost their health insurance, and almost 500,000 have signed up for Obamacare. Your administration just announced that you're signing on to a lawsuit to overturn Obamacare.
And replace it.
why does it make sense to overturn Obamacare, with which people now are relying on? Democrats are going to say the man who's wanted to kill Obamacare is going to take away the protection for pre-existing conditions.
First of all, we got rid of the individual mandate. Pre-existing conditions will always be taken care of by me and Republicans, 100%.
But you've been in office 3.5 years. You don't have a plan.
Well, we haven't had... excuse me. You heard me yesterday. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks. A full and complete health care plan.
I can't remember how many weeks are in 5 years. Is it more than 2? I can't remember. And then Leavitt gets asked about the case falling apart, just humiliation after humiliation for the Trump administration the last couple of days. The case is falling apart, judge throwing out the case against Letitia James and James Comey, which are Trump's political prosecutions against his enemies, because of an alleged illegal appointment of Lindsey Halligan to do his dirty work. And here is Leavitt's response.
Caroline, is the president more determined now, since the judge's ruling today, to go after James Comey and Tish James? And if so, why?
I wouldn't say he's going after them. I think the president is more determined than ever to see accountability in this country, yes, and to correct the wrongs of the weaponization of our justice system that we saw under the previous administration and Joe Biden.
Okay.
They're going to correct the weaponization by weaponizing. But of course, there wasn't the aforementioned weaponization, so you're just weaponizing. That's just all you're doing. And then about the Department of War now investigating Mark Kelly for appearing in a video where Democrats remind service members, take us down for a second, remind service members that their duty is to obey only lawful orders. Trump then tries to disprove this by posting this photo that says, our American Code of Military Obedience requires that should orders and the law ever conflict, our officers must obey the law. So he posts that, disproving all of their arguments. And here's Leavitt trying to justify going after Mark Kelly for just saying the law. That's just how the law works with service members.
And that all lawful orders are presumed to be legal by our service members. You can't have a functioning military if there is disorder and chaos within the ranks. And that's what these Democrat members were encouraging. It's very clear. And not a single one of them, since they've been pressed by the media, and I'll give you guys credit for that, can point to a single illegal order that this administration has given down, because it does not exist.
The debate should not be about who interprets what act as illegal, because that's not what their statement was about. It was just reminding them in these crazy times, if something comes up that is so obviously illegal, not like borderline, this needs to be worked out in the courts, obviously illegal, that they do have that duty. And it was so interesting. She went, all orders are presumed to be legal by our service members until they're not. What do you think all of that military teaching? I've been told by the people I know in the military about all the teaching that goes through about ethically defying orders and how you judge that and how you respect the chain of command while also not getting yourself into legal trouble. Then you have this whole, I can't even exactly keep track of this, but let me try to break it down for you. So you have the former Brazilian president, Jair Bolsonaro, big MAGA guy. He's Brazilian MAGA, maybe they called him. Wait, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. My booger. That's kind of what it sounds like. Maybe he was my booger. Could make Brazil great again. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Cole. I got confused which letter was for what. That was so dumb. I apologize. He, big ally of Trump's. We are in a trade war with Brazil to try to force them into dropping their prosecution against the former president Bolsonaro for staging a coup that he was inspired, I think, by Trump to do. It was kind of his version of Trump's actions shortly after Trump did it. He's actually being prosecuted in Brazil, like we failed to do here for that attempted coup. And he just got put in prison because he was on house arrest as this process goes on, the trial. He was in house arrest, but he tampered with his ankle monitor. Okay, so this is an interesting story. He tampered with his ankle monitor, including using a soldering iron on his ankle monitor. Now, when he got detained, he said, "Hey, I'm sorry I did that. I wasn't trying to escape. I just have medication for my chronic hiccups brought on, and the medication brought on hallucinations, which caused me to tamper with my ankle monitor." So there he is. That's what his argument is. So he had to be removed from house arrest and placed in detention. And Trump was really pouty about this. Let me read this line. In a 30-minute custody hearing, Bolsonaro denied any intent to escape, despite admitting to using a soldering iron on his ankle monitor. A video showing the damage to the monitor was released by Brazilian authorities. Bolsonaro and his legal team claimed that a mixture of anticonvulsant drugs prescribed for his chronic hiccups led him to imagine there was listening equipment inside the tracking device. So he's going loco or something, or he's lying. But chronic hiccups sounds like the worst, if that's real, the worst thing ever. Have you tried holding your breath? I'm kidding. Have you tried someone going boo and scare them out of you? No, I'm sure it's more serious than that. I do feel, for all of my negative thoughts about Bolsonaro, I do pity having chronic hiccups, because that is one of the most irritating things ever. And here was Trump saying he talked to Bolsonaro very recently.
Arrest, Reyes, do you have any comment about Bolsonaro's arrest? A former Brazilian president.
So I spoke last night to the gentleman you just referred to, and we're going to be meeting, I believe, in the very near future.
Sir, are you willing about the president being arrested today? What? Any comment about the former Brazilian president being arrested today?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Are you willing to hear the Mr. President, are you willing?
I didn't hear. Is that what happened?
Yes, there's a citation.
That's too bad.
Do you have any comment?
That's too bad. No, I just think it's too bad.
So he's probably going to end up tariffing Brazil more because he doesn't like that Bolsonaro is being subjected to their justice system. But then Leavitt was asked about this, and everyone's just kind of confused. Like, was Bolsonaro hallucinating when he was on the phone with Trump? Trump was on the phone? We didn't know about that with Bolsonaro last night, right before he was arrested? What? Did Trump tell him to take too much hiccup medication and he started hallucinating and thinking? Did Trump go, listen, Bols. Listen, Bull. Remember, as always, Mabuga. Remember, Mabuga. And also, they probably are listening to you in your ankle monitor. Get a soldering iron. Did he cause this? That's what people are asking. No, they're not really asking that. They're just saying, what's the deal, Levy?
Caroline, one question on Venezuela. Is there any plan, meeting for this week on Venezuela? And another one, a clarification on this weekend, because the president was asked about the former Brazilian president being arrested, and he mentioned that he spoke with this gentleman. Did he speak with Bolsonaro the day before he was arrested?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know if that call took place or not. It may have. I can get you a firm answer on that, Raquel. I know it's of great importance to you for your reporting. As for meetings on Venezuela, there's meetings on a range of topics inside this building all of the time. And
yeah, okay. So Aaron Rupar said Trump mistakenly said he spoke to Bolsonaro because he couldn't hear the reporter. He clearly has significant hearing issues. He does, and in normal settings, he'll be like, what? Speak up, piggy. And so he does have hearing, but this I'd blame him less because they do it next to the helicopter. I don't know why. But instead of just admitting Trump misspoke, we get this. So I guess maybe Trump misspoke, or no one really knows what's going on with that.